Hello, everyone, and welcome to this edition of the Mascot Media Talking Preps podcast. We're with Jerry Bell, who was our broadcast teacher of the year last year and won the award again this year. Jerry, thank you for joining us. Congratulations again.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
Were you surprised? I mean, what's it mean to be honored as our National Broadcast Teacher of the Year, not only once but twice, 2 years in a row?
It's amazing. I give full credit to these students. They sit there and they really um, take ownership of this program and do everything from the start to the finish. A lot of kids we learn at the very beginning, and by the end they're running it by themselves. And I'm just kind of a bystander at the end, making sure everything runs smoothly. But I really appreciate every single thing that they do and what they do to learn and build this up. And our administration's just been fantastic and behind me 100%, helping us push this program and the students. So between the students, the community, and our administration, it's a great honor, and I appreciate getting it.
And we see the studio behind you, incredible. Oh, do want to mention Fairland High School, Proctorville, Ohio. Should give them a
Yes.
shout out and a credit. What's the most rewarding part of it for you? What do you get out of it? Because the stuff your students are doing is incredible, but what is your reward in this?
For me, it's always going to be the light bulb moments. It's when that student that finally understands the process of what we're trying to do and how we're learning from the basics. Because last year I had a pretty seasoned group. We had students that had been in the program for at least 2 years. Most of the students graduated. So this year it was a lot of new students, and we had a football game. Basically, the way our schedule works is years prior we had a couple weeks before our first home game, and we don't do a lot of away games, so we did our home game. So it was kind of jump right in, feet to the fire as soon as we started, and they learned the basics. But then whenever they get to that full operation, which is just like I said before, they're running it themselves. They're asking me questions before I have to ask them. Watching the smiles on their faces when we get that uh, really good shot or that good replay, or just a overall a great live stream.
Now, this is your fourth year to teach this. How did you get involved in teaching broadcasting? What fueled your
This
fueled
is
that?
this is a little crazy. I'm actually the art teacher here at the school. I teach art and ceramics. I also teach graphic design and some basic CAD programs and stuff here. But whenever they hired me, one of the things that the previous art teacher had taught was a morning news broadcast, which is where I'm at now. So with the morning broadcast, it was a live production that the students put on every single morning for about 5 minutes, but it had been losing some steam. The equipment was getting a little aged, and they just needed something changed. So when they hired me, I came in and I said, "Well, let's change a few things first. Let's go ahead and start streaming this to YouTube so the kids can have a chance to watch it all day long instead of just that first initial morning. So that way, if there was important news we needed to have get out to the students, we could do that." But it just kind of it started small. The first year, we only had a couple students in coming back for the program, but we fostered that by taking them to see real world applications at a local TV station, so they could see how we run things here, how it's going to go there, and then it just builds. And I think that the program has built. So we go from, I think it was a single camera when we first started, with just like two microphones and a commentator, to our news program every single morning where we have six anchors. We do weather, news, sports. We try to get the whole broadcast done. Kids are writing their own scripts. They're behind the cameras. They're adjusted lighting. Someone's running audio mixers. We have television studio overlays going. It's just the whole process, and it just keeps building. So that's kind of the process for me from before to getting here, and we just build it every year.
Wow, it's incredible, and yeah, there's a lot of things going on behind the scenes. What was the biggest challenge in getting it from when you took over to where it is now?
The initial was the student buy-in, and the fact that we were doing stuff that was changing. the first question I asked the students when I came in, because before it ran through an RF system and it kind of just went live on the TVs in classrooms, and the students were saying they really wanted a chance to get it, I guess, on demand, which is what is the most current um, platform. And a lot of them said, "Well, we watch YouTube and we watch Twitch and we watch other forms, Facebook. Is there a way we can get this to that platform?" So YouTube seemed to be the best platform we could do. So we developed that FHS News channel, and with that channel, kids started watching the news, and then the next year the class grew. The next year the class grew, and now we're on a application basis for the class, and we go through and we see which kids are going to be great for the class, and it just keeps growing. So that's fantastic. I'm hoping that we have another big group next year.
Awesome. Like, for instance, how many applications approximately would you get, and how many positions are available?
We don't like to have more in the class than say about 25. I like to do a 5 person team in here to where each team rotates. So one week they might be on cameras and lighting. The next week they're on production. The next week they're anchors. We also have one that does B reel footage, and they go out and film throughout the class period and throughout the day, and then they combine that material for us for a. We do what we call the alma mater on Fridays, and we partnered with our um, choir director, and they sung our alma mater for us. So we play a video montage throughout the week of what's happened with the alma mater. So we play that for the students every Friday. They don't understand how great this will be when they get older, like me, where they have a video yearbook of what's going on. But uh, they'll be able to go back and look at that, and then they also get us B footage that we can use throughout our broadcast.
Awesome. What is one of the surprising things that you've learned that you didn't have any idea about when you started this? Are there a couple of things?
I didn't expect the buy-in from our community as much as what it has been. The administration was behind us, and the kids were building up. But once we started putting this out, the buy-in from the community was just fantastic. The I guess we switched our channel because originally it started off as what was called IT Fairland, and they tried during COVID to put out some videos and maybe a sporting event where people couldn't attend. But I talked to them and asked them if we could transition that, and got with our athletic director and our vice principal, who is one of our lead play by plays, and we decided to change it to the FDN channel for Fairland Dragon Network, and let's just add everything. Let's go all in. Let's put everything Fairland on. Let's do our sports. Let's do if there's a debate, if Beta Club's doing something, let's just make this a channel about everything Fairland. And the community bought in fantastically. And what's happened is our viewership has grown. Um, our watch our watches are drastically higher. I think we had one game for us. We're a small community, but we had one game that was 11,000 views for us. That's huge, and we don't charge for the channel, so that's just a good way to get that stuff out. And I guess the biggest thank you for that is we get alumni and past past admin or community members that send us notes or send us letters that they're watching us in Florida. They do tailgates on Friday nights in Florida and put up our broadcast on the screen for us to watch. And I make sure we relay all that information to the students because that's what I guess helps drive them to get better every single week.
That's awesome. I mean, things like that. It's just you've created something, and I'm sure you had no idea it would become massive like
No,
this, but it almost fuels itself, doesn't it? I mean, when you get to this point, what's the challenge now? Because it becomes expected. So,
yes.
yeah, how do you manage that?
Well, what we're doing now is I've always told my students to think of this as the end user. What would make this broadcast better for them? So if it was lower thirds, then let's add lower thirds. If it's instant replay, let's put instant replay. If it's um, better overlay graphics, let's get those in there. Let's think about this end user is going to have. So coming up forward, we're going to add in some new things. We tried out a couple games, a telestrator this year for football, so that's going to work out. We'll probably be doing telestrating during the game live, which will be good. We're also going to be adding in commercials and some other things this year that we haven't had in the past, which will be added to our broadcast. But once again, we're just new technology, trying to add to it, trying to make that experience better. And I want to showcase our student athletes. I want them to feel comfortable in front of the cameras. That's one thing that I think that we do really well here is we get our students in front of the cameras all the time, for interviews, for after the ball game, pre games, because we want them to feel comfortable whenever a camera gets put on them from a national spotlight or national news. So that's one of those key things. But I also want to showcase our students in the in the video department here because I want to showcase their skills, stuff that they can put out. I think we're rolling out helmet cam again this year, so we put a helmet or a camera inside the helmet, and we have students just run out in the field, so that way an average person can get what the experience is for a football player on Friday night to run through our Dragon out to the field and see everybody. So it's important to us. Just want to showcase that and keep building on that, and just keep adding new stuff. And I don't plan on slowing down, so we're just going to see where this takes us.
That is awesome, and that's the cool thing too. The technology is constantly evolving, and you guys are on the cutting edge of it. That's incredible. Is there something from this past school year that, in particular, that stands out that the team accomplished?
Yeah, for me, I had two of them. The first had a 500 episode here at our news for the school channel. And with that 500 episode, the kids wrote their own scripts completely. I didn't have to help with anything besides proofread. They decided on camera angles. They decided on every single graphic change. For us to reach 500 episodes in our morning news within the last 4 years, I thought was a huge accomplishment for us. We entered a local um, contest from a high university called MPICS, and our news broadcast team won that this year, first place. So I was real proud of them. And then the other one for me was we had a football or a basketball game between our rival school, Chesapeake, where I went to school,
Hmm.
and it was Fairland versus Chesapeake, and it was one of our biggest games. It was gym was packed. We had overflow in the cafeterias. We have televisions on showing the broadcast down in the hallways. We're just trying to get as many people watching this as we can. And at one point, about a quarter way through, I realized I wasn't running it, managing it, handling it. I was watching all my students handle the whole broadcast. Um, they have headset comms on. They're talking to um, the cameramen that are on the floor. They have wireless cameras on baselines. They're talking to them about where to get the best angle, change here. It was just great to see the unit run as a whole and everybody doing what they need to do. And I didn't have to worry about a thing besides getting to watch everything. And getting to watch them do it was probably the biggest accomplishment I think I can have as a teacher is getting to see them do this broadcast by themselves.
That is awesome. That truly is awesome. So, how many hours would you say that they've put in this year, and how many events? I mean, you do the news, you're streaming this, that. How much content did they create over the past year?
I'd have to look. We had, I think, two, was it 200,000 total watch hours this year
Wow.
total. We do a lot of broadcast, and then it was I think we did 5, 6 football games, 8 or 9 basketball games. We got to go do a playoff game at a high university. Um, Athens at the Convo Center, which was a different setup to set that stuff up and do that. We did a pregame and an audio podcast the entire event. Um, I would. It's hard to say exactly how many. It's just so many different ones because I forget how many days we have here, 170 some, so 170 some broadcasts this year just with our news broadcasts, and then all the game footage and the hours that we have to do that to get that stuff ready. Um, it's a lot. I'm really proud of how hard they worked this year.
That's incredible. So if someone's watching this and thinking, I'd like to start something like this at my school, or if a student's watching is thinking, man, this sounds cool, I'd like to get involved. What advice would you have for somebody that's thinking of getting to started and doing something similar?
First, talk with your administration, talk with your principals, find out um, find out what kind of buy-in they're gonna have with you on this, and see if they're going to be backing you to get this started. Second, I would probably like I did, start a video and news club. And with the video and news club, it gets students a chance to come in and um, see the process, see what they want to do, try to get them excited, see where their see what their motivations are going to be, whether it's going to be to get this news out to their students, or if this is strictly for sports and um, trying to produce a quality live stream broadcast. Once you have the students and you get the administration behind you, then it's just a matter of picking the right software, picking the right equipment to make it easy to use, easy to manipulate, easy to change, and a product that's going to be reliable, because you don't want to have a live stream that kind of cuts out or has issues. So I would think going that route would be the way I would go again.
As far as equipment and stuff starting out, is it good to kind of start small and work up big, or try to bite it all off in one chunk, do you think?
I think starting small is the best way to go. With the technologies changing the way it is and the price of equipment, you can get an encoder that actually a video encoder that has ability to use Wi-Fi or an Ethernet connection, and can accept multiple inputs for audio or video. A small little audio mixer, a really good decent camera that you can record, and you can start doing your live streams from there. Then it's just a matter of every single week, do you want to add something new? If you need to add more cameras, you can add more cameras. You need to have better audio, we get better audio. We add every single year new equipment to make um, this broadcast better. But it's all every time we add equipment, it's always a need base. Um, we're going to start doing after game interviews. If you only have two microphones or two headsets, you can't do that. So adding two more headsets would be so. It's just a process. But I would start small and then add as you need. That way you can add the products that you need and the products that you want. And keep in mind that this is an ever changing field. Equipment gets better, it gets cheaper, it gets more technology. So you don't want to buy really big up front and then have to try to deal with that equipment when technology's zooming past you. So
That makes sense. That totally makes sense. So you you do this all year. What do you do to get away? Because I'm sure um, you need a break. So do you have downtime, and what do you do to just kind of
well,
refresh your batteries?
for me, like I said, I'm the art teacher here, so I teach art and ceramics also. So I start my day with news here, and then I get to go into graphic design and ease my way into my art and ceramics classes, which are great. That's my end of my day to make to make the technology kind of balance out with what we're doing. But when school's out, I just love spending time with my family. Uh, Me and my wife and my daughter and her fiance, we try to do fun trips, and we try to go to dinners and just relax. It's just really my home life is my balance. I really love and appreciate my family. Um, I can't even tell you what that means to me when I get to come home after a long day or something like that. They're super excited, super supportive of everything that I do.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And I know you're teaching today, so I need to wrap it up. Just man, congratulations, y'all are killing it.
Thank you.
And give us the YouTube channel again for folks who want to check it out because it's worth watching, folks.
If you go if you go to our or go to YouTube, type in FDN, um, I guess Dash Ohio. I think we pop up as the first FDN now, which is great. But FDN Dash Ohio, you'll see our logo. It's got the green shield on it and the FDN and a little dragon tail that comes down off the swoosh. So um, we actually have some older footage in there. That's one of the things we were adding this year is we were putting footage from like 1993, which was the year our head coach in football. It was his senior year, so we
Oh,
put
cool.
his stuff up there. So we're putting retro videos and stuff on there too, just to add to that experience.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, continued success and congratulations again, and thank you for taking
Thank
time to
you.
visit. Jerry Bell, our National Broadcast Teacher of the Year, our guest today on Talking Preps. We'll talk to you next time.